Let's have a huge round of applause for Ola.
Oh boy. Thank you so much, you're amazing. We just have 25, come on. Okay, welcome to the very last talk of the sidetrack for 2018. Did you enjoy the conference so far? Yeah. Right? Who lost their voice? Nice. If you need medicine. So my name is Ola. I'm an engineer at Mozilla, you might have heard. I do mostly performance, compatibility, specs, CSS, JavaScript, just the cool stuff. Today we'll try to understand how TCP works, surprise, how it's actually delivering those packages everyone's kind of talking about, and maybe we even learn what happens to the ones that are lost. Okay, let's jump right back in. And take a look at the Internet Protocol family. You might recognize one or two of them. It has just very few members, like 500, so it's fine. So those you see here are probably the most common. Do you recognize any? Like HTTP, FTP, SMTP, and when you're as old as I am, Telnet, they're cool. And there are also different models that group them together to make the roles kind of more understandable. This, for example, is the OC model, which groups the protocols in 7 layers. It groups the protocols in different layers for the internet, like the network layer, application layer, totally makes sense, right? There's also the most important one, the 8th layer. Everyone forgets, but it's also the hardest. People. So, there's also the DoD layer model, right? It stands for Department of Defense because they developed them. Just has 4 layers. But it's kind of the most common in our daily architecture. The DoD model groups the protocols in a little bit different way. You can see the relations in the graphics. I added the relations to the OC model there. The DoD layer model is also called the TCP IP model because of both are kind of the foundational protocols in the suite. So what they even do, I don't know. So what are the roles? IP is short for Internet Protocol. It's here to give the sender and receiver kind of a number so the packages know where they're coming from and where to go. Like this one. We could also go with names like bar, school, park, but computers are not that good with words, so we stick with numbers. Another thing it does is actually to check for the closest router where to forward the data to. So I have a package be like, you, catch, and it will be fine. TCP is short for Transmission Control Protocol. As the physical network, surprise, is kind of not reliable. This protocol is taking care of the transmissions of your data. So it creates a reliable network for you. Makes sure everything gets from one point to another. Especially with something so wibbly-wobbly like the physical network, it's a good thing to have. At least the sharks stopped chewing on the undersea fiber cables. That's a good thing. So what does TCP do and not? It makes sure your data arrives in a specific order. Make sure data has minimal errors, so it's actually correct. Makes duplicated data discarded. Make sure lost packages are resent. And protects the network from being overloaded. We'll get to that later. What it does not do, it just doesn't care who's sending and receiving, kind of. It's just this cute delivery bear, which is hey, package. So, do you understand the roles? Yes? I know it's late. Wake up. Yes? Woo! I like that. That's really good. So we get to the next point. Packages. I'm going to tell you a story, make things easier. Okay. So imagine your friend is sick. Shit happens. And it's a good friend. They love to read, so you want to borrow them a book. This is one of my favorite books. And you can't go there because reasons, and your roommate is so nice, will just basically grab this book and bring it there. So this is what they do. The roommate takes the book, bikes over, your friend is super happy, they come back. Congratulations, you just delivered a package. Okay. But your friend is like really sick, like, ugh, you don't want to go there. So your roommate is really cool, and you decide just to put together like a small package to make them feel better. So you like grab some tea and candy and cookies, sort them in 3 boxes, like those you bought at IKEA like 10 years ago in the back of your cupboard, right? Just take them, small size, same size, put numbers on them because your friend is actually really sick and might forget that I got 3 and which one is, that's fine. So your roommate grabs them, bikes over, your friend is like, that's so nice of you, thank you. Puts in a small note for you, comes back. Sounds reasonable, right? Congratulations, you just understood how a round trip works. Good job. So those packages are literally nothing else than boxes that contain like candy, tea, cookies, but, well, data, whatever. Their purpose is basically just to group those bits and bytes. And every box has a number, so you know the order, and especially if all of them arrived. That's cool. Okay, we got that now. So now the most important and biggest part, we need to try to understand how actually the transfer works. And explaining this with data is kind of boring, right? Who likes pancakes? Raise your hands. Right? Pancakes. Everyone wants pancakes. They can be split up in like small units. You can slap stuff on them, how much you want, whatever you want. That's amazing. They can stay warm in those boxes and fresh. So let's stick with pancakes. Every transfer starts with a so-called 3-way handshake. The 3-way handshake is here to make sure both sides are like the correct ones and aware that a file transfer actually happens. This is how a 3-way handshake looks like. Might remember from school. We have sender, receiver, things happen, people get scared. It's correct, but I don't like that much. So I was on the playground the other day. I was reading this really good book. I do read a lot. And my 6-year-old was like, what are you reading? TCP, 3-way handshake. Explain it to me. So I did. She was like, Mom, this is easy. I'm going to go and build a fort now. I want to make you feel the same way. We'll get there. So let's translate this in human. So let's meet our sender and receiver. This is Stefan. He's an engineer who loves biking and cooking for others. This is Dominic, also an engineer who likes to travel and, because he travels so much, home-cooked meals. Both of them have a few other things in common, like speaking at conferences, wearing onesies, and food, and especially surprise. Right? Okay, so imagine, Stefan has made some pancakes. Dominic wants some. But they both really want to be sure that the transfer works because angry Dominic is nothing that anyone wants, trust me. He's my neighbor. And all pancakes actually arrive at the correct destination, right? So this is why we perform the 3-way handshake. Stefan grabs some paper, picks a random number, 23 it is. He writes it on a piece of paper. This is what we call a sync. So a SYN is a request to synchronize. Okay. Dominic takes a look at the note, performs an ACK, which stands for acknowledgement, and therefore he adds the number 1. So he's like, got it. To let Stefan know that he received the note, he thinks about number 2, but pancakes, and it's hard, but he gets there. He takes 7. Great. So he sends that out. Note goes back to Stefan, and he performs the ACK. adds 1 to Dominic's number, and we're good to send those pancakes. Nom, 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 nom. Okay, so those little notes are not just love notes. They're the TCP headers. They contain all the information that TCP packets need, and this is how they look in real life. Nah. Yeah. Let's just say that's human. Cool. Let's take a look at the TCP headers the moment Dominic sends it back to Stefan, right? So that way. The sender, therefore, the source port is Dominic. Destination port, Stefan. Dominic's random number was 7, you might remember. So the sequence number is also 7. When data was transferred, the length of the data in bit would have been added to that number, to the sequence number. But we didn't. We did just the handshake, so it says a 7. Stefan pinged 23, we got an ACK plus 1, so that's the acknowledged number. The next will be data offset, which pins down exactly where the TCP header ends and the package data starts. Reserved means 3 bits for new cool flags. You saw some of the flags which is next to it already, like SYN, ACK, FIN, because bye. Window contains the size of a data the sender or receiver can handle. So it's the size of a pancake batch. Depending on the direction, it's either the one from the receiver or the sender, because they switch, right? So we get back to that later. Checksum, minimal possible security effort, they tried. Urgent pointers, possibility to say, hey, that package is more important than the others, fast forward. Hint, don't. Options give you like details for like urgent pointers and other things. Options are good, we like to have options. Filler, padding is also a great performance improvement. So we assume 32 bits. And if the header does not fill this up, padding will. The cool thing is we don't have to calculate bit by bit by bit, which is annoying, just like steps. And that helps. Data pancakes, right? That's obvious. So, okay, the blue ones you see here we talked about already. The yellow ones we'll take a closer look at, so pancakes and size of the batch. And the green ones are a little bit more advanced, very interesting, but we're not going to do this today. So you might have noticed Stefan and Dominic actually in the audience. Say hello! Right? Hi. So as I mentioned, Dominic is hungry. How would you feel about we actually fed them pancakes? Like here and now. I mean, I'm a parent. I always have a fresh batch of pancakes in my bag, so. But okay, before we start, we really want to make sure he does not overeat and get sick. We need you around. This is why we need to check how many pancakes he can actually eat without getting sick. In TCP, this mechanism is called flow control. It's here to prevent the sender from overwhelming the receiver with pancakes. Possible reasons are Dominic is busy right now with like getting some cluttery, right? Or he got some cluttery, that's amazing. Or it's on a heavy load because I'm scared. It's receiving some berries, maple syrup, and maybe even bacon from someone, I don't know, in another transfer. Or has just a very fixed amount of buffer, which translates in human as a plate can hold just that many pancakes, right? So, here you can see a very simplified version of a round trip. Usually it looks like this. We don't have enough space. Let's stick with this. Cool. Dominic receives pancakes, but does not send anything right now, except after love letter, right? Cool. In that note, we store like the value for how many pancakes he can put on Dominic's plate per package. This way we make sure there are no leftovers, he does not overeat. Cool. But he still gets as much food as possible. So per every ACK that all pancakes have arrived, he writes like this little number on a node. This value is called receive window size, or RWND in short, which is like the available buffer space plate. Dominic would let us know every round trip how many pancakes he can receive and how much space he's got left. Same goes for Stefan. If he would receive some, I don't know, bacon, maybe, but I'm sorry, buddy. I don't think you will. Today, the maximum possible value is 1 gigabyte. It used to be 64 KB. It was a little bit small. And it's still very likely to differ because of configurations, network, round-trip time. And this is hard to remember. Just imagine, like 1 gigabyte is 1 plate. Okay. Wait. What about the sender and the network? That's important, right? Come on. 2 more minutes. We don't want to overwhelm them. So this is why we have congestion window size. Yay, CWN in short. They are not sent, just known. They're just known by the person that sends them out. This value defines how many segments can be sent out per package. We get back to that later. So a segment is kind of a batch of pancakes. They're measured in so-called TCP protocol data units, defined by the connection they're actually using. So a batch of pancakes is smaller when you use a modem and bigger, so many pancakes, when you use a fiber cable connection. The size of the congestion window size can never be bigger than the receiver window size because a plate can have just so many pancakes. So round trip, the congestion window size keeps like increasing up to the maximum receiver window size until the network reaches its limit or you don't have anything left to send. Does it make sense? You're awake, awesome. It's good that you're awake because now we can start to transfer. And look, everyone who sits in between them, welcome, you're the data pipeline. So how it works. You start the package, you do your stuff, fast as possible. It's all about performance, right? We need a small round trip time. Okay, first pancakes, let's go, let's go. Keep them in the package. That's fine, that's fine. Come on. We don't have much time. Don't close it. Show the Shane. Go. Faster. Dominic got him. Come on. Out. Ack. Yeah, we got an ack. Come back. Don't even close it. It's all about the performance. Now, come on. This takes forever. Shit. And the next batch, faster. So now, by the way, we have 4 segments. We increased because he's hungry, he's eating. So what's your receiver window size right now? Okay, go. We got that down. That's really good. Faster. Look, that GIF is faster than you. Look. And come on, the last round trip. The last one. Wait, did someone steal pancakes? Thank you so much. They're mine now. Bye. The talk is over, by the way. Bye. So a big applause for everyone. Thank you so much. Good job. Woo! Oh, so nice. So you might have realized 2 things, except of, are you okay now? Pancake? Yeah, cool. Okay. So there were 2 things you might have recognized. One was, we actually kind of increased the segments, right? Per round trip. You totally saw that. The other was package loss, because okay, let's tackle the first one. Was this random? The increase by pancakes, was this random? Surprise, no, this mechanism is called a slow start and is optimized for TCP. What slow start does is estimate available capacity between like the sender and receiver. How? Available capacity by exchanging data. So, you remember I was talking about segments, right? Batch of pancakes. The reason why we have to find the congestion window size to make sure we do not overwhelm the network or the sender. They never start like the full bandwidth. They never do. They start like really slow and small and check out basically how stable the network is and how much it can handle. So simplified slow start this. So you have time and stashes of pancakes. Congestion control window, congestion window size. Default today, init default is 10. Used to be 4. We did 2, which is amazing. Let's go with that. So here the value, you can see here is 2, right? So when we received everything, you get an ACK, and we measure the round trip time. Then the algorithm is like incremental, so it doubles up. And then we can take 4, do the same, and when everything arrives, it's again an ACK, round trip time measured, then 8, then 16. This is how the algorithm looked like I just explained to you. Ugh. So let's assume we just lost pancakes, right, at 16. Oh no. Okay, TCP will resend those packages because TCP is awesome, it loves you, takes care of you, right? But it will probably fail again because network apparently can't handle that many segments. So package loss, surprise, is actually not a bad thing. It's a built-in mechanism that tells us that we actually overwhelmed the network. To avoid losing like more packages and the network, we have something that is called congestion avoidance. Feedback mechanism, package loss, showed us all along the way that something, we encountered a congested link or a router. This is why we need to adjust the CWN, right? Okay, so what we do is we check out which was the last value that worked, reset our CWND back to that, and we'll basically grow from there. We will run into package loss at some point again, just do the algorithm again then. We'll just adjust. So, latest value that worked was 8, right? Cool. So we take that and we don't double it up, we just take half of it and put it on. I would be 4, and then 12 plus 6, and it goes on until we lose packages again. The algorithm is like the really tricky part here. When it's too aggressive, it's cutting down the increase and your, well, connection will be bad. If you don't adjust quickly enough, right, then it will like introduce more package loss. So PIR is really cool because those algorithms are repeatedly and constantly worked on. And this is one of the good algorithms that might cut off like 3 to 10% of your round trip time. And it's really nice. So all of that sounds amazing. Do you love TCP? There are limitations. So, they're also fast. We transfer data every time we hit like the limit and wait for the ACK. That's like 1 round trip time of delay, right? Either the sender or the receiver are forced to stop and always wait for the ACK. Nah. And that, if it's like a very long time, it can cause like massive gaps in the data flow. So the effect is called bandwidth delay product. Round trip time here is like our bottleneck, and the connection is, when it's unreliable, the times can like vary a lot. So the good idea here is to optimize your window size values so that the round trip time would be enough to get the ACK back. And the bigger the window size is without package loss and the smaller the round trip size, the better. You can also use window scaling because it helps you with that. Since TCP is an abstraction of a reliable network over like unreliable connection, it includes like really cool features we talked about, like basic package error checking, in order delivery, retransmission of lost packages, flow control, congestion control, and avoidance. That's really cool. And those features are built in for like the greatest efficiency possible. But they also limit kind of what you can do, of course, when something is specially made for something else, it does. Head-of-line blocking is like the last limitation I'd like to point out. As we have like a reliable and order delivery built in, we kind of rely on all segments to arrive. Cool. So when the 3 segments are sent out, and just the first one or one of those is lost, it will drop all packages. So the first one was lost, he was waiting for the first one, and everything after was like, no, first one, I don't care about the others. So Stefan will basically resend the packages until the first one arrives, then the second, then the third, and we get an UC. This might cause like a connection to die at some point because we will be overwhelmed with resending, and there's no way around this. And consider something else if you don't need a reliable and order network. And please don't build stuff because you think like UDP is great. I just need a very few features. You will realize after like 6 months, oops, I've rebuilt TCP. Everyone does that. Okay, that was it. I had an amazing ending for you, but you might, the package got actually lost. Thank you.